my friend who works in a psych ward, and she was telling me how common it is for patients to think that they are Jesus. It's like a really common delusion worldwide in a bunch of psych wards. Most of them have one or two dudes that think they're Jesus. It's a huge number of people. It's actually a big enough number that one of them is probably Jesus.
Okay, funny, but as I open the curtain, I want to suggest to you that that actually is a reflection of egregores. And the fact that an egregore is like a paradigm or a belief system that has accrued energy to actually take on an energy of its own, to develop an essence of sorts. And essence goes back to what's essential. And that's the difference between what is essence and what is form, what is substance and what is form. So, substance fills that which is formed. The cup is the form, the substance is the water or whatever beverage goes into that cup. And the egregore, the reason so many people can think that they are Jesus, I propose could be because what we're dealing with is a thought form that has accrued enough energy to become an entity of its own. And what that means is that, yes, people would make the mistake of thinking that they are that which the energy overtaking them is. The portal way we become when we invite something not of us into us means that something else can make us think that we are it, which is coming into us, you see? So the mental patients who feel like or think they are Jesus or some kind of savant or one who is special and able to do special things, it could be a reflection of the fact that is true for all of us. We're all unique, special, only one of us, the only one of us, because there is only one. And yet, it could also be the reflection of an egregore, a paradigm, a belief system. So I just thought I would pose that to you because the comedian was funny, but also sharing the truth, right from the words of one who works in a mental institution or asylum, a ward, where everyone deemed a legal person, statutory person, substitute person, exchequer, executor, ward, lunatic, or minor who is unable to speak for themselves can be relegated to the third person within the triad of their person. And the difference between the legal person and the trustee who have split title between the two, so you cannot have one without the other, which means the professional is always there when there is a patient. Above that, at the top of this triad, is the principal position of the properia persona of your natural person in the office of man of capacity. Because if you're a man of capacity, you're not on the level of having to share your title of beneficiary with trustee, you see? I hope I've made that clear. I've been trying to, but I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be. And I also know that I feel things and have to work through them and with them and grow from them and integrate their lessons or not. I am in the very human process of being alive. And yet I use quotation marks because I do believe it's problematic that we see ourselves to be the hues of man in human compared to the whole man, which doesn't have a thing around it because the whole man doesn't need a thing around it. The whole man is whole and complete in and of himself, like a noble gas partner that Bruce Lipton talks about in The Honeymoon Effect. Very powerful. A chemical, I don't know what you would actually, I think it would be a chemical molecule, I guess, that is complete and whole in and of itself, doesn't need another compound in order to balance itself or the other. So the compounds come together to complete one another, which is why the honeymoon effect feels so beautiful. Until then it's like, hey, no, I'm not okay with that. And then the problems begin in the cycles of the honeymoon effect, then into where you get into the conflict and the behaviors and reactions, responses based on past as well as in present. And the level of syncing between the two can reflect the level of abuse in the present too. And then what comes from that, which is either the disconnect, the reconnect, or the maintenance of something that is not working, not whole, not full, which would be what the hues of us would be instead of the whole of us. The colors of man versus the whole man. I'd rather have the whole, not just rainbow, but the whole palette. I'd rather have access to all of it rather than just some of it. And this is me. This is the entity of me saying this, the essence of me orating through me, the vehicle of me body is how I share the message of my heart and soul. And this is where we have to see that if we believe that our intellect is the spark of the divine within us, we will fall from the vine of a tree that does not actually have any substance. The world tree, for instance, Yggdrasil by Norse mythology, where the weavers of time, the weavers of fate, past, present, future, weave the threads of lives together with all the people who are here, which are us. Yggdrasil weaves us into that tree. Whereas we actually, at the Beltane event last year, 2025, Christina Abbott and I co-hosted with Jordy helping to get the maypole up and Kingsley helping to facilitate and welcome people and host with the most fantastic opportunity to be where we were as we were with those who came, and it was spectacular. I even paid a videographer to capture the moments that have not been yet shared, but will be, because the weaving of the world tree, instead of doing it from the top down to represent the sealed DNA helix, double-stranded helix of our DNA, instead of that, in the tribe of Dan, as they say, what we did for that ceremony was weave half down to the middle and weave up from the bottom to the middle. And then in the center, we actually weaved the ribbons around a hoop, a hula hoop, or some kind of something in the middle that was a round enough structure. I didn't actually partake in that part of it. I was part of many other parts of that whole process, but I didn't pay attention enough to be able to say what the material was for certain. But what I do know is that I was there, and I'm grateful to be able to share my experience and to be able to actually recognize that if we allow something not of us to overtake us, then we are leaving the door open for something else to use our voice to speak for us and maybe even others. People who trust us or don't, it's problematic. If we are using our reputation in order to manipulate their perception, which goes back to Anita Roddick and the creator of Body Shop, who was all about cruelty-free, organic, good products, good ingredients, high quality, which built a reputation and a brand around it. And that's what L'Oreal bought when it was sold. So, living in community means interruptions happen by essence of what others are doing in your midst. And it is something to just recognize happens. So, lots of moving parts. What does this one mean to and for you? I look forward to hearing it.